All right, Joe, so you only smoke cigars once a year, but it's also like one of the more iconic moments. Take me back to what it's like to win back-to-back division titles, go into the locker room, be handing out cigars to your teammates to celebrate.
Well, it's just a fun little tradition that we do now. Just kind of signifies a celebratory moment, winning the championship with your guys. It's just a nice moment to enjoy together.
It goes back to the days, I mean, I was there when you won at LSU.
Yeah.
I was going to do the post-game interview with you. Is that the initiation? Was that the beginning of the cigar celebration?
That was the beginning, yeah. Our locker room definitely still smells a little bit like cigar smoke today.
When you talk about kind of this year's team, obviously you learn a lot from going to a Super Bowl, but how is this team different from last year?
Well, it's really a whole new team. We have a lot of new guys, new faces, and every year you have to adapt and learn who you're going to be as a team, as an offense, and you kind of evolve throughout the season. So it's a completely different team from last year.
And this year it feels like it's more consistent. Like the confidence is there, the play is there, and we're not riding a roller coaster with the Bengals this season.
Yeah, I would agree with that. I would say we're a more consistent football team from first quarter to fourth quarter. Really from the 1 quarter mark of the season on, we've been really, really good. Kind of win your games and move on.
Right. Did you ever think that a kid from the Plains, Ohio, right, would grow up to take the Cincinnati Bengals to back-to-back division titles? Like when you were playing in the backyard, is that what you envisioned?
Well, I always thought I was going to be a basketball player growing up. I was more of a basketball guy, and then didn't really focus on football until junior year of high school, when I figured that was kind of my ticket. And so that's kind of when we started.
So it's even more of a surprise then. You were somewhere dunking. You thought you were going to be Steph Curry.
Yeah, exactly.
Where would you say the confidence in your game, there's a competitive edge to you that you don't always see. Where does that stem from?
Well, one, probably my preparation. I'm really confident in the amount of work that I put in. And two, I think you have to have that confidence in yourself to go out and execute in the big moments that you need to win championships. And so at some point you kind of have to trick yourself into thinking that way.
You have to trick yourself?
Sometimes.
That's one way to put it.
Yeah.
What's the difference between cocky and confident in your eyes?
I don't know. I try to toe that line a little bit. Sometimes I cross it maybe.
But it's interesting because I feel like you can cross it and still everyone loves they call it confidence. It never ends up being cocky. So what is it that, how are you able to toe the line? How do you know?
I don't know. You're just trying to pick your moments where you try to display that confidence, and in other moments you have a different answer to a question. And it just kind of depends on the moment and the situation.
One of my favorite things that you said, I think it's on Sunday, is the window's always open. My entire career, the window is going to be open. Describe exactly what you meant by that.
My plan is to be here my whole career, and hopefully Zach is here my whole career, and hopefully a lot of our guys are around for as long as my career as they can be. And I have a lot of confidence in the front office doing their jobs in the off season. We've drafted well. We've brought in great free agents. We've claimed guys off waivers that have really made an impact on our team. And so I think we have one of the best front offices in the league, and Zach, in my opinion, is the best head coach in the league. And so that gives me a lot of confidence to go out there and say that.
How have you changed over the last 3 years? Like, give me year one, Joe Burrow. How would you describe who that guy was?
Well, you're just trying to figure out how to win games in the NFL. Every game calls for something different, and you learn that as you play more games. And really I've just grown as a player as far as, one, I'm throwing the ball a lot better, and two, I've seen a lot more football and understand situational football much better than I did a couple years ago. And like I said, every single game calls for something different from your quarterback, and you have to kind of feel that out early in the game.
Who have you learned from, the mentors or people that you talk to? Maybe it's even outside of, say, a Zach Taylor, but the guys that when you're going through something that you can have a conversation with, maybe understand where you've been.
Well, initially it was J.T. Barrett at Ohio State. I watched him operate for 3 years, and really understood from him how to be a leader and go about your business every day. Handling different guys in the locker room differently as far as being a leader. You can't talk to everybody the same way, and you really have to understand your guys in order to lead a locker room, because you can't just go off on everybody. You have to understand how everybody works. And so when something isn't going right with somebody, you have to know how to talk to them to bring them back to a better place.
And then who did it evolve to after that? So we had JT.
Yeah, I mean, I've had so many great coaches over the years, from my high school coach, Coach White, to at LSU, Coach Munoz, I leaned on a lot, and then here I lean on our quarterback coach, Pitch, a lot. And I've really been blessed with great coaches to get me to this point, and that know how to manage me and know how I operate, and know what is going to be best for me on the field on Sundays.
When you make it to a pinnacle like a Super Bowl, and obviously you want to continue to get to that moment, but you got there so early in your career, what was that moment? What did it mean to you then, and how do you use it as motivation now?
Yeah, that's really that's the standard from here on out. That's what we expect. We expect to win every game, and we expect to go deep into the playoffs, because we know what we have in the locker room. We know what we have upstairs in the offices as far as coaches go. We know the work that they put in, and I know the work that all of our guys put in. So we expect to win every game, and obviously that's not going to happen, but you have to think that way.
Right. Help me understand who Joe Burrow is when he's just like watching film, or we see a guy that's super confident on the field. Are you a perfectionist? Are you constantly like going back and watching things over and over again? Do you have to write things down? Like mentally, how do you prepare for games?
Really, I don't really write anything down. I learn more just watching and observing and accumulating that knowledge. And we have a great process throughout the week that gets us ready as far as meetings, and then taking those meetings to the walkthrough, and then taking that walkthrough to the practice, and then talking over the reps from practice. It's just very laid out for us from Zach. He has a great plan every single week for us to learn our stuff, learn the defense, and then go out and execute.
Speaking of the defense, let's talk about the Ravens. And obviously it's just like a rematch. We get to watch it all over again. It's like our Week 19 rematch. And it kind of got chippy towards the end of that. I mean, you guys are rivals, obviously. What's the expectation in seeing them so quickly, that quick 7-day turnaround?
Well, they don't like us. We don't like them. I have a lot of respect for them on defense. They do a really good job. They make it tough on you with their scheme and their players. They got really good players that make it hard on you. So it'll be tough, but I know it'll be exciting and intense too.
What's it like though to start the playoffs here in the jungle?
That's always the best.
Yeah.
The atmosphere before that Monday night game that we didn't end up playing was the pregame atmosphere was unbelievable, and not really something I've ever been a part of.
Yeah.
And so we're excited to come back out and hopefully replicate that.
You bring up that Monday night game, and obviously we all watched Damar Hamlin, and we're so thankful for his recovery. But what impact does that have on you, just personally being there, seeing it on the field when a moment like that happens?
Yeah, that was tough. Knowing that it could have been any one of us in that same situation. It's a football hit that happens just about every single play, and that was what was so scary about it. Was because you see yourself in that situation. You see Jamar in that situation. You see every single one of your guys in that situation, and that's a scary moment that you didn't really know what was happening in that moment too. And so we just tried to show unity, show love, and show support.
How does that just change the way you view this game?
It really doesn't. I always you always know that that's a possibility. Until something like that happens, you don't really. You think it's a possibility, but you don't really think it's going to happen. And now it's happened, and that's just always in the back of your mind.
This year, obviously making it back to the Super Bowl, goal number 1. What were the personal goals or things that you have been striving for, maybe all season, to improve yourself?
Just really get better every day. And if you do that, you're going to be a better player at the end of the year. And I think I've done that personally, and we're, in my opinion, a much better team than we were last year. Just getting better.
That's saying a lot.
Yeah, we went to the Super Bowl, but that's the goal every year. You just continue to get better week after week, and at the end of the year, it'll all pile on, and you'll see that on the field.
I guess just with the way everything happened postseason, and we could have had a coin toss deciding whether or not you're going to have home field advantage. Your coach has spoken open and completely honestly about maybe the Bengals, we're not getting the fair shake. Does that add a chip going into the postseason?
No, not really. I mean, it is what it is. I don't think that if you need more motivation going into the playoffs, I think something's wrong with you. That you definitely think about it, but I wouldn't say it adds anything.
I also feel like you just play with the chip. Is that true or false? And if so, where does it come from?
I don't know if I play with the chip. I don't know if I'd say that. I play the game intensely, and I play the game with fire. I think I have to play that way to do what I do.
I'd be remiss if I didn't ask you, because your dad sent me clippings from your grandma when she played high school ball, okay? She said she was scoring like 82 points a game back in the day. So I'm curious where the athleticism came from. Did it come from Dot Ford? I need to understand the backstory here.
Yeah, well, I don't know if this is a true story, but apparently they tried to guard her by putting one girl on top of another girl's shoulders, which that's the story, but I don't know if I believe it. But yeah, I would say it definitely came from her.
That competitive nature.
Yeah, just seeing the newspaper clippings is pretty incredible what they were saying.
She scored 82 points.
82, yeah.
I went back and actually read that, and your dad was like, she was only playing half-court basketball or something like that. Yeah.
I think it was 3-on-3 half-court back then.
And then the last thing we have to get into, I almost forgot, but you're New York Times most stylish, okay? I mean, I think the list was like of 92 people, and somehow like the quarterback of the Cincinnati Bengals is on there. How do you even choose your fits? Like, walk me through how Joe Burrow gets dressed for game day.
Just see what I like and throw it on. I don't don't really think about it.
You don't have a plan? You don't have like a schedule?
I mean, every offseason I pick a couple outfits that I want to wear, but other than that, it's just going at it. I don't know.
Can I be honest? This is the first time I was nervous about, like, what am I supposed to wear?
Because thought I was going to outdo you?
I did. And then you came in sweats. I appreciate it. I, like, did the rock thing. I was like, I'm just going to give him the chain, the turtleneck,
classy.
like you did, you know, with the puffer when you went to Kansas City. Okay, what was your favorite outfit that you kind of put together? Do you have one?
I like that one.
That was a good one?
Yeah, I like that one.
I knew you would. I like the red Cartier glasses, though.
Yeah, for
that was
sure.
one of my favorites.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.